Okay, here we go. Welcome everyone to Accessible Learning Services. Today we are doing a presentation about our services, and I am Don Kezima, and my co-host is Joanna Popchak. Say hi, Joanna.
Hi.
There you go. Joanna, what are you going to be doing today to help out?
Oh, right. So today I am going to be monitoring the very busy chat that we have, and yeah, and I'll talk a little bit about my role. Right, Don? I'm here to support you today.
Absolutely. Sounds awesome.
Wonderful.
Okay. So here's a picture of us. I think I have a little bit less hair than that, but that's the best I could do. And Joanna looks as youthful as she is.
I like the picture. It makes me look younger. So yeah, you should pick a younger picture, Don.
I tried to get a different one done. I think I need to get a different emoji.
Yeah, this is your best self, right? So
Right. So I'm going to read a land acknowledgement. Ani, today I reflect upon the past and contemplate the future of our human family. I see that many of our family face discrimination and violence. We do have a voice for change, and with our hearts and our actions, we will support those who champion the ongoing fight for true equality for all of us. We are privileged to live, work, and draw nurture from the skies, the lands, and the waters of Turtle Island. We are grateful to reside on the territories of the Anishinaabe and other indigenous peoples, the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat. We embrace the history, languages, and cultures of all of the First Peoples, the First Nations, the Métis, and the Inuit. Thank you. So we're going to discuss our ALS team, sorry. ALS is a short form for Accessible Learning Services, and we will use that acronym from time to time. So our team includes me, the intake coordinator, and my role is to register students for our service. We have accessibility consultants. They are the folks who set up the academic accommodations for students. We have adaptive technologists. They train students on software that helps with reading, writing, spelling, and taking notes. And we have learning strategists, and Joanna is a learning strategist, and she's going to briefly tell you what she does.
Hi, everyone. So as a learning strategist, basically I'm here in my role to help you become a more effective student and help you with time management, reading strategies, writing strategies, and anything else that you may be struggling with in your studies. So basically we work with a strengths-based approach, and we look at what you're good at and how you can use your strengths to overcome any challenges that you have in your learning. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Joanna. It's a really valuable role. Many students use our learning strategists for assistance. And of course, we have a manager of our department. Our manager, her name is Anne. She provides leadership for the intake, assessment, recommendations, and implementation of academic accommodations and supports for students with disabilities. So the role of Accessible Learning Services, we set up academic accommodations. That's another word for academic help for George Brown College students with disabilities who register with our service. And what is an accommodation? Well, it's a form of academic assistance aimed at reducing barriers that a student might experience due to the effect of a disability or disabilities. Our service is free and it's confidential. There are 3 steps to receiving accommodations. The first one is to register with Accessible Learning Services with me, and I'll explain my role in a minute. Once a student is registered, they can be connected with an accessibility consultant. During COVID-19, we are connecting students by email, by phone or by video chat. And when they are connected with the consultant will set up their accommodations. Once a student receives their accommodations, then the accommodation list of the accommodations is submitted to their professors so that the professor can provide the accommodations during classes and during tests. So how to register? Right now during COVID, we're making it very easy for students to register with our service. Primarily, it goes right through me, and we're saying, hey, if you want to register with ALS, or if you have any questions, just contact on Kezima, and my email address is on the screen right now. It is dkezima@georgebrown.ca. That is DKEZIMA@georgebrown.ca. When you contact me, please provide your George Brown student ID number and the name and program code for your program. When a student registers with Accessible Learning Services, we are required to ask for medical documentation, and we ask for documentation so that we can set up the best possible accommodations for you. So documentation, what is that? Something from your doctor, simple as that. Basically, it could be a letter or a medical report. It could be more than just a doctor. We have many healthcare providers who are eligible to provide documentation on behalf of a student. So it could be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, an audiologist, many other service providers, as long as they're a regulated healthcare provider. If you are a student who is on OSAP, Ontario Student Assistance Program, and you've registered with their program, you can fill out one of their disability verification forms. The disability verification form is on the OSAP website. You would be able to print a copy of the form, take it to your doctor, have the form completed, and then you can upload that form back to the OSAP website and be potentially eligible for grants or bursaries. At ALS, we can use a copy of that disability verification form to provide accommodations for you, so it's a great form. If you have ADHD or a learning disability, we would like to ask for a psychoeducational assessment. This is a report from a psychologist where they diagnose your ADHD or learning disability. It's a fairly long report, but it's a really valuable report, and it helps us to set up accommodations for you. If you're a student coming out of high school, you may be familiar with the term IEP, which is an individual education plan. You can submit a copy of your IEP as a first step to registering with Accessible Learning Services. An IEP is not actually a medical document, but it does provide information about a disability. Usually students with IEPs have learning disabilities, but there are other disabilities as well. So we will accept an IEP to start off the registration process. Disabilities can be permanent, of course, such as a learning disability or ADHD. They are permanent disabilities. They can be temporary. For instance, if you broke an ankle or a wrist, or if you may have received a concussion, those are temporary. Excuse me, I have a bit of a catch in my throat. Some students suspect they have a disability, but they've never actually been diagnosed. And in cases like that, we would ask you to register with us, and we would connect you with an accessibility consultant to talk about what you feel your disability may be. It's primarily students with learning disabilities or ADHD that come to us without a diagnosis, and we can arrange testing through the college for students with learning disabilities or ADHD. It's all done through OSAP, It's a long process and it takes a little while, and I won't go on about how to do it at this point, but what I would say is just register with me. I'll connect you with a consultant. You'll have a conversation with a consultant about how we can arrange testing for you. So who gets accommodations? Well, if you are a current student and you have not yet registered with ALS, you can do so at any time. We right now are nearing the end of our first semester of the 2021 school year. So many students are registering for the next term, which starts on January 11th. If you are a new student who is starting on January 11th and you need to write a placement test, we can arrange accommodations for your placement test, of course, and also for your courses. And if you are someone who wants to apply to George Brown and have to write what is called a pre-admission test, we can arrange accommodations for that test for you. Even though you're not yet a student, we can still help out with accommodations for your pre-admission test. So you would just contact me in that regard. A little bit of a repeat here, just a reminder that once you are registered, we'll connect you with a consultant. They will take a look at your documentation that you've provided when you registered. They'll ask you questions about how you learn, what strengths you have in a classroom environment, what kind of challenges you are perceiving when you're trying to receive an education. And then they will create what is called an accommodation profile for you. And with your approval, a list of the accommodations that they've created for you will be shared with any or all of your professors. It's up to you. Your consultant will become your go-to person so that if you have any questions or concerns about your accommodations, make sure that you give your accessibility consultant a shout by email to ask them for assistance. Something really important about accommodations, they must be related to your disability. They do not create an advantage for you, and they do not modify any of the college's academic standards or alter the core requirements or outcomes of a program. So there are no program modifications. All students must take the same courses to graduate. Accommodations are in place, of course, for the entire stay at the college for any student. So if you were getting your accommodations and you were taking a program for 3 years, your accommodations would be there for the entire 3 years. You can, of course, check in with your consultant each semester. Sometimes you might need to tweak the accommodations, maybe update them. I would always say, if you're not sure about accommodations, make sure you get them. You don't have to use them, but it's important that you have them in case they're needed. So a lot of students ask us, well, what is an accommodation? What kind of, can you give me some examples? So as you see on the screen, here are the most common accommodations. The primary one is more time to get things done. So if you need more time to write a test, let's say you have a test that is 1 hour long, maybe you need more time, so we can give you 1.5 hours or even 2 hours if it's required. Some students need more time to get their assignments done, so we call that extensions on assignment deadlines. Many students benefit from note-taking assistance. It's a great accommodation. Many of our students use that. Some students need a scribe. A scribe is someone who writes or types for you. Reduced course loads are a major accommodation for students. This basically means that you will be taking fewer courses per semester and stretching out the life of your program. Why would you do that? Well, for some of us, taking a full course load may be too much for us because of our disability or disabilities. So I'll give you an example of a reduced course load. Let's say that I'm taking a 1-year program which has 2 semesters. And in the first semester, I have 6 courses, and in the second semester, I have 6 courses. Taking a reduced course load, let's say I go down to 4 courses per semester. So by the end of the second semester, I will have taken 8 courses, which means I have 4 more courses to complete my program. And I can take those 4 courses in a subsequent semester. after my second semester. As we mentioned before, we also refer students to adaptive technologists, and we refer students to a learning strategist, which is Joanna's role. So basically, you would meet with your consultant first, and as an accommodation, your consultant can connect you to Joanna or any of our other learning strategists. Some things that are really good to know. Last year, we had over 3,500 students who used our services. So that's quite a large number. It's somewhere around the 10% of the student body who benefit from academic accommodations. We get some students who ask us about whether they should register with accessible learning services or not. Some students have had a bad go of it when they were younger because they had a disability. They may have been treated badly, discriminated against, or even bullied. So when they come to college, they're hesitant about registering and disclosing a disability to accessible learning services. What I would recommend is that if you're not sure what to do, just get a hold of me and we'll have a chat about it. I think it shows a great deal of strength to talk with us about your disability, and we appreciate it, and we would recommend that you would get accommodations. Remember that your role as a student, you're coming to George Brown because you want to learn, you want to take a valuable program, you want to graduate and get your diploma, and getting accommodations is a great way of getting that done. Okay, and it's really important to know that your disability information cannot be shared with anybody outside of our department. That means that your teachers cannot know about your disability. No one can phone and ask us whether you have a disability or if you're registered with Accessible Learning Services. All of this information is private. If you are a current student and you wish to have some help from maybe a parent with regards to your accommodations, that's great. You can actually sign a consent form with your accessibility consultant, which would allow your parent to liaise with our department on your behalf. Some students like that, and it is a good idea for many students to have their parents involved, but of course that is up to you because you are running the show for your accommodations at the college. Another question that we get from some students is, once I graduate and I apply for a job, will my prospective employer know that I was receiving accommodations in college? And of course, that answer is no. The employers cannot ask questions like that. It is actually illegal to ask questions about disabilities to applicants. So you are safe with your disability, and you can disclose your disability on your own terms with anyone. So here I am again. My contact information, dkezima@georgebrown.ca, and you can contact me if you have any questions about our service, any questions about disabilities, any questions about accommodations. Even if your question is not related to our department, I'd be happy to hear from you, as I can be one of the contacts that you can use at the college. It's great to have many, many contacts to help you out. If you need to find out more about accessible learning services, you can go to our website, our webpage. It's georgebrown.ca/ALS for accessible learning services. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation today. We appreciate your attendance. And remember, if you have any questions, you know who to contact. That's Don Kezima, dkezima@georgebrown.ca. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks, Don. Good job. Good job. So yeah.
Did you stop the recording?
I did.
Thank you. It's really hard to talk to an empty room.
But you did great. You made it like 30 minutes almost, right? Without any
Oh, I
question.
hope I wasn't going too fast. I know that sometimes I speak too fast.
You did not. No, this was very well paced. This went well. Yeah.
Oh.
I just didn't know where I should jump in, right? That's why I was kind of in the background most of the time.
No, you know, it was really because we really didn't have anyone to sort of go back and forth with. There was really not much more than just me blabbing, right?
I also turned my video off.
No.
But I don't think it's recorded, right? I think Peter's here. Peter, are you here? Can you hear me? Maybe not.
It says he's
Yeah,
here.
I think when we record it, it doesn't record the video, just the screen.
Well, that's
So
as long as it was in the captions, it doesn't matter. I don't want to see my mug on there anyway.
don't say that. Yeah, so we're done for today. Thank you, Kara.
Thank you, Kara. Have a happy day in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Stay warm.
have a good holiday as well if we don't see you in our next session. No, the next one we're doing is after the holidays, right?
Yeah, we'll be doing another one in January.
Mm-hmm.
So happy holidays, Kara. Thanks again. Take care.
Okay, bye everyone. Take care.
Okay, bye, Joanna. Thank you, as always.
Always nice.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.